from Paris today, 15th of January 2025. I would just like to bid you all a Happy New Year, a fresh start of this new year 2025. And then we're really happy to bring you today an innovation session from Paris, focusing on smart city sectors. All right, so the next slide, we will present to you the agenda of today's program. Okay, so today we have a session which will be consisted with a little bit of introduction from our side Impulse Partners in case you don't know us. And we have two special guests coming from Brick and Mortar Ventures, Haekyum, and Smart City Association of South Korea. Followed by 4 speeches of our innovative startups, which is SenseGrate, Probis-CISO, and EcoPulse, and last but not least, Conseo. And of course, we will finish our session with Q&A and discussion between peers and all of the participants, and we will conclude today's session. So that's the agenda of today. And we will go directly without further ado to our introduction of Impulse Partners. So hello, everyone who's just connecting. So I just wanted to, before introducing our speakers of today, say a few words about our construction tech program and also who we are, Impulse Partners. So Impulse Partners is a company based in Paris, France. We are a team of 40 to 50 consultants today. And what we do is we're very passionate about and dedicated about construction innovation for over a decade now, 12 years to be exact. And our main goal is to speed up innovation in construction, real estate, energy, infrastructures, and really bring together the key players on these sectors in a global scales. So that's what we do, facilitate innovation around the world and between sectors. And to do so, we have developed a global ecosystem of entrepreneurs, tech firms, VCs, decision makers, which play an important role, each one of them, in accelerating innovation, driving economic growth, and solving complex challenges. And next slide, please. Thank you. So Impulse Partners is currently bringing together companies from around the world, as you can see on, just before. Thank you. Yeah, as you can see on the map here. So we started some initiative to boost construction tech innovation, to accelerate go-to-market strategies and help startups scale. And today, as you can see on the screen, we have around 20 players, governments, big groups with whom we work hand in hand to bring their innovation challenges come to life. All right, and then thank you. So I'd like to zoom now on some of the programs we did in the past years, 3 to be exact. So CRH Ventures, Ellison, and Barton Mello. So quickly, without spending too much time on each program. So CRH Ventures, a world leader, of course. The focus of our program was to challenges around the water topic. So that included like stormwater, wastewater, and potable water, to include everything. And we identified over 500 solutions around the world, among which 110 of them applied to this program. And 6 finalists has been selected to engage in pilot projects with CRH Ventures across North America and Europe. So that was our program. Second one was with Ellison. The challenges were more various. So our job here with Ellison was to help them understand and map the evolving market trends. And we identified and capitalized on opportunities that generate innovative solution in construction job sites. So same thing, over 100 startups applied, 8 finalists were selected for a pitch day, and then 3 of them are now in a POC project with Ellison. Last one, for Barton Mello, the challenge area is a little bit more specific. It was to automate labor-intensive process in construction tech. Anything like installing and operating solar farms, capturing data on job sites, mapping underground utilities, and choosing land for urban development, more specific subjects like that. And we have identified 30 solutions, among which 25 applied, and a solution got selected to go through the pilot projects to innovate at the job sites in the construction sectors. So what I'm trying to say is that we tailor all scopes of problem, all scopes of challenges, and help big groups or government institutions or investors to understand opportunity, and then help startups access to also these kind of opportunities as well. All right. Next slide, please. Right. So this is a fancy slide of ours to show you that we have identified and qualified over 3,000 startups today. And we have helped more than 200 startups worldwide collaborate actually with corporates and to participate in entrepreneurship programs and involved in multiple investment deals. So it is important for us to continue to source great startups all around the world and facilitate any kind of collaboration between them and other members of our ecosystem. So please do not hesitate if you have or come across good startups. We're always open to meet them. And last but not least, this is our amazing team on global side, at least at Impulse Partners, myself, Ji-yoon, and Marianne here with us today on a Global Contact program. So this was just, I talk really fast, but this was an overview of our activity. And of course, if you're interested in learning more about us, Impulse Partners or Global Contact Program in particular, we're more than happy to answer any of your questions. We have a website dedicated for that and an email address, of course, that you can see on the screen right now. Okay, so please go to the next slide. So exciting part start just now. So if you're joining right now, you have come to the right place. So coming up today, so we will hear from two presentations, one from Guillaume Bezoin of Brick and Mortar Ventures, and second speaker is Ji-hyun Hwang from the Smart City Association of South Korea. And of course, this will be followed by 4 amazing startups we will be presenting you today. First will be Daryl of Integrate, and we will have also Concierge Burak, Owen from Previsilio, and Rodrigo from EcoPulse. So welcome everyone, and then at the end of each presentation, we will have a few minutes for the Q&A and open discussion. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to use the chat to type out your questions, raise your hand, not literally or not literally, and we will get your questions. And anyone, I think it's already the case, do not hesitate. I invite all you to mute your microphone when you are not presenting and only activate it at the end. All right, so we are sharp on time and more than ready to welcome our first speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Guillaume Bezoin of Brick and Mortar Ventures. Hello, Guillaume. Thank you for being with us today.
Hi, June. Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone. I guess I'll just share my presentation here.
Yes, please.
Let me know if you see it.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, good. I think I think it might be better if I allow time for questions, so I'll try and go faster for the early presentation and leave some time so we can have a quick conversation. But very happy to be here. I'm the partner for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa for Brick and Mortar Ventures. We are a venture fund with over 250 million in assets under management. We partner with large corporates in the world of construction that I'll go over in a little bit. And the slide is a little antiquated. We've invested in slightly over 70 companies now, with I think as of now 5 of them being in Europe, and well, actually 6 in Europe, 4 new one being this year. Another, and I think we track the same deal flow, and I'll have a slide on this, but we're now closer to like 3,500 companies that we're following around the world, and I'll show you where they're from and how things are evolving. One quick thing that I want to say about us that tends to set us apart from the crowd is that we have a strict focus on construction tech, and we don't have a focus at all on anything that would fall within prop tech or property tech or financing markets for construction. And so really we'll be looking at every type of business model. We'll be looking at software and hardware, and we'll look across the value chain. And I'll start from the right side into like circular economy, end of life, waste management. We'll look at logistics solutions between distributors and job sites. We'll look obviously at everything that's connected to operations on construction sites, but also at new materials, deep tech, and so on. So even though it is focused on construction tech, it is still a very deep sector, in the sense that we don't only focus on what people typically associate with construction, which is buildings. We have a very deep interest on everything that's industrial, everything that's public works, everything that's energy systems, and growingly looking at space as a category when it comes to new types of construction and new technologies. This is just to give you an idea of the last, I think we're missing 2 or 3, but these are the companies that are active right now across our different funds. I guess I can share that with you later on so you can have a deeper look. It's also on our website. What's worth noting is we have the benefit of having been the first historic investor in construction tech. And so I guess in the early days, we didn't have much competition for better deals. And so we're lucky enough that out of the 5 top exits in construction tech, we're investors in 4 of them. And the last one you're seeing is Pacemaker, which we did not join, but the others we were in. We're a very small team of 7 people altogether. Most of us come from construction one way or another, whether it's in startups, operations, in large companies, innovation, in innovation in large corporates as well, consulting in also the field of construction. And so I would say we're a team of experts in the field with again that single focus. This is almost the last slide I want to show you. Like, what is also of interest is that like a majority of our investors are large corporates in the field, and so that enables us to have a high level of proximity when it comes to having exchanges with them regarding their strategy, where the market is going. But obviously, it's also helpful when it comes to making introductions and helping our portfolio companies, but also the people that we talk to, whether we invest or not in the companies. And looking at time go by, I think you're all very familiar with the issues that exist in construction, so I'll pass on this. One thing I want to highlight, I would say, is that these issues are getting even deeper and more challenging through labor shortages, both in the United States and in Europe for a lot of what we're looking at. It's also getting more challenging when it comes to environmental regulations, becoming harder to comply with. And all this is putting sort of like incredibly high pressure on an industry that's already struggling when it comes to margin and operations. And so why we continue to be very bullish about this sector, I would say, and maybe I'll have this as my last or almost last slide. We're now at a time where, we have foundational technologies that have become available that can become the layer for the first layer and infrastructure layer to build new tools. And so when you think of drones, smartphones sounds crazy to say that now, but 5-6 years ago, it wasn't ubiquitous that you would have access to smartphones on job sites. Obviously, AI, when it comes to computer vision, pattern recognition, very extremely useful in our field where a lot of data is unstructured. Robotics, also, growing extremely fast and something that we keep a strong eye on. So better foundational technologies is a key point. The second one is that there's more and more talent going into this field. It was very rare. I'm going to put it 10 years ago, but 10 years ago, it was almost unheard of that you would see people that could work in any field and that have an interest in whatever, data science or something that's people are looking for, that it would be really, really rare for them to choose construction. And now we see people that want to go into construction for the environmental impact, for the general societal impact, and so on. And that's very refreshing. The last element that's very encouraging is you're starting to see a lot of generalist VCs pouring money into construction. And so what I want to say is that, yes, it's true that since the end of the pandemic, VC investments have gone down, generally speaking. It's not true that it's gone down in construction tech. We're seeing a steady increase in the availability of capital there. And so that's all great news. I guess I'll leave you with this one as the last slide. We don't need to be obsessive about unicorns, but it's an interesting metric to keep in mind. AEC stands for Architecture, Engineering, and Construction. You look at this sector, there's been 3 companies that have reached $1 billion valuation, period. You look at financial services, which is altogether a smaller industry than construction. You've had more than 300. So I'd say we have quite a bit of room to create value and quite a bit of room both for founders and investors to make this thing work. So I'll stop here. I went slightly over what I wanted, but we have a couple of minutes for questions. So, yeah, I'll share the presentation as well, and feel free to reach out to me directly. That's useful.
Great, thank you, Guillaume. It was a very concise and helpful pitch, and then definitely gave us something to think about, especially your last 2 slides. Thank you very much for your insight. Do we have any questions on the floor, on the chat, and anybody who wants to raise hand? Of course, we're going to share with you the presentation material, and then you can always come back to us if you have any additional questions. All right, I think the audience is still shy, maybe. So,
well, I guess I'll add one thing then, Gio.
Yeah, sure.
Like when it comes to, I should have mentioned that because we have a few startups in the audience. Our investment target is typically $2 to $5 million US dollars. And so we play in seed series A. So that's kind of where it makes sense for us to engage. Super,
that's really helpful for us to know. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Guillaume, for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. So that was the presentation of Guillaume from Brick and Mortars Ventures. Let us move on to the next guest speaker, which is Ji-hyun Hwang from Smart City Association of South Korea, which is a government institution, and they will share with us some of the valuable initiative of their institution, what they do, maybe trends of smart city sector in South Korea. So without further ado, I invite Ji-hyun, if you can hear us, and then activate your microphone and share your screen, please.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hi, Ji-hyun.
Good morning. My name is Ji-hyun Hwang from the Smart City Association, which is a statutory organization under the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transportation of the South Korea. So, our mission is to advance urban innovation and create human-centered, sustainable smart cities. So today I will guide you through our vision, key projects, and global initiatives. So the Smart City Association focuses on customized city designs to meet unique urban needs. Our projects span 4 key areas, just like here. building ecosystems for innovation, creating foundational infrastructure, fostering global networks, and accelerating international business expansion. Notable among these is the national pilot project, which aims to develop futuristic cities incorporating cutting-edge technologies. In the Smart City Challenge program, we have tested 240 solutions in 128 cities to raise public awareness and expand effective services. Key updates includes a new campus challenge for piloting innovative ideas and the solution project to scale proven solutions across 23 areas. These efforts are building smarter, more inclusive urban environments. Since 2016, we've been scaling the Smart City Integrated Data Platform. By 2023, our goal was to implement it across approximately 170 local governments, diversifying public services such as disaster response, waste management, and real-time environment monitoring. Smart buildings are miniature versions of smart cities. These structures utilize advanced technologies for energy management, security, and environmental control. By automating these functions, we enhance both efficiency and user convenience, contributing to the broader smart city ecosystem. The Smart City Association serves as a committee member of the Korean Smart Building Alliance, laying the foundation for smart buildings. So robots, for example, are becoming essential elements of urban environments. It's happening everywhere, not just Korea, and as a smart city technologies objects. So robots enhance functionality and convenience in public spaces. And these shifts requires redesigning urban areas, not also just buildings, to accommodate their operational needs effectively. So therefore, as buildings, the Smart City Association has developed design guidelines for robot integrated structures and manages the certification process. Building a robust smart city ecosystem involves collaboration between governments, private companies, and citizens. So we are fostering innovation by providing business support and creating a marketplace for smart city solutions, boosting the domestic industry. We actively promote international cooperation. As you can see now, since 2023, we've been hosting global accelerator programs in countries just like Singapore, Vietnam, and France last year with Impulse partners. So in 2023, 20 Korean startups participated in programs in Singapore and Vietnam, and with 2024 expanding to Europe, including customized mentoring, market entry support, and global networking events. So in summary, the Smart City Association is committed to driving sustainable urban development through innovation and global cooperation. Thank you for your time today. And unfortunately, I will not be able to stay for the entire session today due to another commitment. However, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me here. And I will ensure you receive a prompt response. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jiyeon, for your presentation. It was really helpful for us to understand what Smart City Association do, especially in Korea, and also some of your global initiatives helping your startups go abroad, and then also to promote smart city industries in Korea. Do we have any questions or remarks on Jiyeon's presentation? Any questions are welcome on the conversation chat on this webinar, or you can always email us if you have any questions. I will make sure to put you in contact with the right speaker or intervenant. So, okay, and also you can always raise your hand using the function of Microsoft Teams, just saying. All right, so I don't think we have any particular questions. We will bid you a good evening, Jihyun. Thank you very much for being with us today. Have a good day ahead of you, and then we'll stay in touch later. Thank you very much, Jihyun.
Thank you.
All right, great. Right on time and then ready to welcome our first startup now to begin our pitching session today. And of course, no one will be a better person to do that than Daryl Keaton from Sensigrate, coming from United States. Daryl, are you with us today?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, and thank you for being with us despite the time difference. We really appreciate it, and we're really eager to hear your pitch. Do you want us to project the screen, or do you got it?
I'll share it on my end.
Okay, great.
Can you see my screen yet?
It's loading, and yeah, it's perfect. Now we can see you and your screen.
Okay. Hello, my name is Daryl Keaton, president and founder of Sensigrate. We're based out of Scottsdale, Arizona. We started in 2018, so we're in our 7th year. We're focusing on ending traffic fatalities by 2036. So on average, over 118 people die daily in the United States. And to help prevent these fatalities, governments, automotive companies, OEMs are creating autonomous vehicles, or cities are creating what are called complete streets to help design and create safer environments for vulnerable road users, including cyclists. Unfortunately, Dr. Barbara Freitas last summer was hit and killed in a redesigned protected bike lane from a drunk driver. So even with new initiatives and redesigns in streets, we're still seeing fatalities happen. So to help prevent this, we created SensiVision, a state-of-the-art computer vision AI analytics platform to help improve transportation and urban planning to help save lives. So how this works and how SensiVision helps solve preventing fatalities is we use existing cameras. We have over about 28,000 cameras across the US that we have access to. We even have access to cameras in Australia and some European countries, or we install sensors of camera, LiDAR, and radar to process doing data collection in real time. For the ones that are existing, that's all processed in the cloud, or for those that are that we install are through our IoT edge device system. There on both the cloud or edge system, we have our computer vision software. As I mentioned, it's LiDAR, camera, and radar, depending on the use case, where we process data in real time, we send it to the cloud, and we provide further analytics, and also through our web application, and we provide real-time alerts through connecting through a roadside unit that provides basic safety communications and pedestrian safety communications. So providing advanced warnings to help avoid collisions and helping provide information about situational awareness on roads to drivers and vulnerable road users. So our solution, we want to make it very easy. So it's a plug and play out of the box. As I mentioned, we connect and integrate with roadside units. So those could be existing that cities have already deployed, or even public safeties, or we install the roadside units as part of our solution. All of our data is converted into GIS, so we are able to understand the GPS coordinations of all events and objects. So we detect, track all mobility and non-mobility objects in our field of view of the sensors. And for other data, we can implement that and integrate it through our API integrations. One focus of a use case is our safer and smarter intersections, where we focus on vulnerable road user detection and tracking, focusing on near miss collisions. So measuring the potential collisions between pedestrians, cyclists, e-scooters, and vehicles, or vehicles of vehicles. And that helps our cities understand where collisions are happening more proactively versus waiting for collisions to happen, investigating and understanding why these incidents are happening. We also are monitoring the human behavior and movement analysis. So really not just understanding how vehicles are moving on on corridors, highways, and intersections, but also the human behaviors of people, especially e-scooters, with new forms of mobility coming to our roads every day. So we also monitor speed, CO2, and congestion monitoring. And as I mentioned, our focus is really on the infrastructure of vehicle communication, providing safety messages to drivers. And how that happens is through a onboard unit, so a car that would have a device that's able to receive these messages and a visual display, or through cellular vehicle to everything, where we provide communications through mobility applications. We're also collecting signal phase and timing communication with that data in the RSU. And that allows us with our partners to provide emergency vehicle traffic signal preemption. So providing green light phases to emergency vehicles when they're heading to a scene. And then transit priority to help reduce congestion for buses, fleets, and semi trucks. So our infrastructure vehicle communication is a real-time alert. It is aligned with the current compliance and standards that are out there. Right now, we're focused on those in the US, but this can be easily adopted to European and Asian countries. And right now, we're also working on trying to partner with OEMs and tier one providers in the United States, even some opportunities hopefully in Japan this year where we can communicate directly to the vehicles. Now that process does take time to integrate and get approval to work with OEMs and the tier one, tier two providers, but just wanted to highlight that. So new data set that we brought into our business last year is our SurePath I2V data, where we collect data through in-dash cameras. So it helps us advance our infrastructure to vehicle where we're not able to have our sensors everywhere deployed across the US, but we're able to get data from vehicles that provide every second an image from their dash cameras. So we can provide information about road conditions and situational awareness on roads. All this is location-based. We're able to provide travel times, vehicle speed, and weather insights. So some customers interested in that, besides municipalities, are public safety for fire departments and helping them with their route planning, and insurance companies. So our market opportunity is over, right now we're working with 8 cities, 3 universities, and 4 private companies. So with 2 million AR potential at the start and over 8 million AR at full potential. And our current pipeline includes 20 cities, 20 universities, and 50 private companies. We've been working with cities and universities, but our goal is to scale and expand more quicker through private company opportunities. With that, we see potential over 40 million AR and full potential over 100 million. So our business model is we have our software only, where we provide just our software as a license. Our cloud solution, leveraging the existing cameras, and that's a per camera solution. And then we have our SensoVision Edge, where we provide the IoT solution with sensors. And then we have our SensoVision Enterprise, where we provide everything, including our infrastructure to vehicle communication, and provide service support, maintenance fees for those customers. So we're working with them from the installation, but managing the solution through its life cycle. So our competitive advantage is our ability to provide and enhance not just through municipalities, but through public safety. So part of that is including post-crash care. When a collision happens, what happens after the collision, and helping provide a faster response time. One of those use cases is providing live video feeds through our real-time collision detection solution. We have high accuracy with our combination of sensors. We can see up to 150 meters for pedestrians, including at night and adverse weather conditions. And with our radar, we can see up to 300 meters in advance. So we have over about 98% accuracy with our detection, and with the infrastructure of vehicle communication, being able to see vehicles at high speeds in advance provides higher warning and alerts to help prevent collisions from happening. And then our competitive pricing, we've been targeted for some more RFPs in the US outside of our current markets because of our pricing and our high quality and accuracy. And then our sensor fusion, where we fuse the LiDAR, camera, and radar together to provide a better quality in our detection. So our growth for 2025 is we're still working with our current customers, which are municipalities, smart campus solutions, and transportation applications. And last year we started to expand into transportation engineering firms. So those are some of the private business opportunities and intelligent transportation providers. And then also public safety. So with the public safety, 911 centers, EMS, emergency management services, so like ambulances, fire departments, and police. And then our growth markets, where we really see this at full scale, are with V2X communications. So luckily in the US, the US Department of Transportation has put a plan in to deploy the roadside units for V2X communications at 75 major cities and along all major national highways through the next 16 or 12 years. And then also integrating with car manufacturers and tier 1, tier 2 OEMs, fleets, and insurance companies. And then we have a couple handful of partners that allows us to be successful in our integration and solution into the market. So one of our customer testimonials is from a company that we worked with out of Israel. Zev said, SensorGate provides a unique data set ahead of the market that advances safer and smarter streets. We assessed 13 computer vision traffic solutions around the world, and we selected SensorGate because they have an end-to-end solution that encompasses everything we need to advance our Falcon solution and provide the data and analytics that cities are looking for. And so they provide adaptive automated signal control and leverage our computer vision detection to advance their algorithms. But today, we've had over 20 projects in the US. We've market expansion into public safety. We have 15 active customers and growing, and have access to over 50,000 live cameras and sites across the US. So from our financial model, our forecast revenue through 2025 is over $450,000. Last year we did $350,000 in revenue, and our projected revenue for this year is to double from what we did last year, so have a 50% growth year to date. So none of this is possible without my amazing team. I've definitely been the visionary, but I surrounded people that are 10 times smarter than me, such as my colleague Matt. He's our CTO. We work together at Deloitte & Touche. He really helped us set up our cybersecurity and IoT backend system. And then Guillermo serves on our computer vision software development engineering, so leading the team, such as William. He's a senior computer vision engineer and author on our full stack development, supporting our data analytics and web visualizations and reports. And then Clinton is our lead engineer. And so currently we're raising a seed round for $2.5 million. Last summer, we received $150,000 from Google, and towards the use of funds would be to help us advance our data analytics as a service platform. achieve a 99% accuracy in our models for our perception software. Our for marketing sales, continue to expand the current customers and expand to 10 additional customer contracts this year. Execute marketing strategy, including conferences and exhibiting and presenting, and then commercialize our solution to be in compliance through like a SOC Type 2 report and enhance our security capabilities. And then for operations, managing operations, legal, accounting, and other administrative services. And the one last thing I'll note there is to date, we've raised almost $750,000 total. So thank you for your time. My name is Gerald Keaton, and I'll open up to any questions.
Thank you, Daryl, for your presentation. It was very clear and straightforward. Okay, do we have any questions for Daryl or on SensaGrate? I think it was really clear, your presentation, and of course we will be sharing with all of you information, pitch deck that is that has been presented. Do not hesitate if you have any on chat. Raise your hand or share with us by mail. All right. I think we're good, Daryl. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being with us. And of course, on screen, you have contact information of Daryl if you want to connect with him on his socials or on the website. All right. So thank you, everyone, for your attention. And let us move on to our next startup. Okay, so we have Owen, I think next, who's a business development manager of Previsiso. Do we have Owen with us today?
Yes, yeah, I've just joined. Hi there.
Hello, Owen. Morning.
How are you doing?
Very good, thank you. So I'll let you present your screen.
Yes, sure. Bear with me 2 seconds.
Of course, take your time. If not, we have it on our side too. Perfect, we can see your screen.
Excellent. I'll just make it full screen. Is that come
even
through?
better?
Okay.
Let's go.
Excellent. Yeah, so lovely to be here today. Thank you for inviting me to pitch. I'm Owen Lauder. I work as the utility and construction lead at Previsico. And today I'm just going to give you a very quick overview and summary as to who Previsico are, what our technology does, why it's so prominent and so forceful in a developing market, what our gap is and how we apply to and where we see our growth markets. So Previsico are a business that has spun out of a university in the UK called Loughborough University, and we were commercialized back in 2019. And really, from 2019 until now, we've developed from 2 co-founders, which are Dupeng Yu and Avnom Baranch. And these are specialist scientists in surface water flooding and the impact that climate change is having into the nature of our environment and how that is affecting flooding and the nature of flooding moving forward. They spent 35 years in academia working on and developing a product, a model that can accurately produce flood forecasts and flood data down to a property level resolution. Our product and our company is now up to 42 employees, and those 42 employees are over 50% PhD and scientific background led. The team has over 220 papers with over 5,700 citations on the specific subject matter of stormwater and surface water flood predictions. So what is it that Previsico do and how do we fit in? Well, I find this image on the screen really impactful because before Previsico were around, whether that's within the UK, whether that's within European markets, flood alerting and flood predictions were all centralized through the government. And as you can see on screen here, the orange sections are historically what governmental agencies would alert upon. And these alert warnings are generalized, they're broad geographic, and they only cover river areas and coastal areas. And the reason is because historic flood models and how we generated flood alerts was all around the intensity of rainfall on any given area. So that's fantastic for whether a river is going to burst its banks, or whether a river is going to overflow, or whether storm surge and coastals are going to break a certain height of a sea defense. But what it isn't good at, and what it can't provide, is accurate understanding of where water is going to build up and exceed. And this is really, really impactful, because actually 56% of the flooding impacts to date is now from surface water. And what I mean by that, surface water is flooding that really occurs from the exhaustion of drainage networks. And there's a number of different factors that can really integrate into the purpose of surface water and how surface water appears. So as you can see on screen here, there are a lot of graded tiles from white to blue. And this is the type of flooding that Provizico pick up on, and Provizico are developing and supporting with a high accuracy model. And how do we generate this data? How do we generate these flood tile, like time depth predictions? Well, we have a globally capable, scalable surface water flood forecasting model. And what this model is, in really simple high-level terms, is rather than just using how much rainfall is going to fall in a given geographic area, we are essentially creating a 3D bespoke environment for every single asset within the UK. So we are incorporating loads of different parameters and putting it into a live environment so that we can generate a 48-hour outlook of data, of flood predictions, every single hour. So we are essentially creating 3D environments that incorporate data sets such as elevation, whether that's standard elevation data or drone data. We're taking in parameters and percentages of drainage capacities, whether that's within drainage networks, so man-made infrastructure, or whether that's in the natural environment. So the different geology types and how much water that geology type can saturate. We're also incorporating an ensemble library of nowcasts and forecasts. So we're not just taking Met Office, we're not just taking the known provider, we're taking a number of different nowcasts and forecasts, doing probabilistic forecasting to generate the highest accuracy percentage of the known output that can go into our model. And the key crux of flood forecasting for such a complex peril, such as surface water, is gaining validation. So we use AI within our model to validate all of the data inputs and validate it with outputs and real-time understanding. So we have a feedback loop in our model, which is constantly improving the model itself. And this is why we incorporate things like satellite imagery. So really understanding satellite imagery is great because you understand whether flooding has actually occurred. So there's a validation piece back into the model for the most accurate property level predictions. And the other piece is we have our own sensor network. So we have a market leading innovative sensor technology that monitors water level in real time. So we can install these sensors above and below ground to ensure that we're essentially providing real-time data that feeds into our model. So there's a known understanding of water levels specific to either properties, construction sites, or any nature of asset. And really expanding on that piece of real-time sensing, the importance of this is that when you have a forecasting model, when you have a flood model, you're only as good as the data that inputs into it. There are processes you can to improve those pieces, such as the AI validation using social media outputs, satellite imagery, doing probabilistic ensemble libraries to ensure that the model is creating its own narrative behind the data and inputs that are going into it. But the importance of real-time sensing is huge, because what a model can't incorporate is parameters such as leaf litter buildup. So the example you can see here is that here we have a trash screen, so a drainage asset. And this drainage asset, if the flooding approaches and goes above the wall there, can impact over 300 homes. So we're looking at cost damages of 6 to 7 figures purely from an overflow and an exhaustion of one individual asset. And so being able to model this asset is incredibly hard. So what we do is incorporate these sensors. These sensors can act as a standalone output, and we can provide these sensors as a standalone solution. But ultimately, these water levels feeding into the model can give you a more holistic view. And so what is it that what's the data that you get off these sensors? Well, as you can see on screen here, there is a base flow of water level. This is when the sensor is picking up the level of the water when it's operating at base flow. But ultimately, what the sensor is doing is providing a real-time understanding of the water level. So as we can see from this example here, leaf litter has built up on the trash screen, which is causing a blockage, which is causing water levels to rise. And the important thing about these sensors is we do topographical surveys and GNS time understandings of when customers need alerts and when expected flooding is going to occur. So in this example here, we have issued an alert at the point of which the water level has breached the high amber warning zone. And they've gone out and they've cleared the leaf litter and it's gone back to base flow. Due to the nature of this event, this has raised above the yellow line a couple of times due to intensity of rainfall and prolonged rainfall. But ultimately, what they've been able to do is clear the trash screen every time it's breached the high alert and mitigated any expected flooding. And really, the power of this solution and the power of where we're going is that climate change is creating a hugely uncertain environment. But what we do know is that we are causing a more urbanized environment. We are constantly constructing, or we're constantly constructing in areas that are not prone to flooding, but we're now causing to be prone to flooding. And so when we look at the market potential and the growth potential of us as a business, us historically have very much been insurance-led. So we are providing solutions that are mitigating flood risks and therefore lowering flooding claims. And so we have a number of different partnerships in the insurance sector who like to recommend and supply our solution to their insureds and to their customers. But ultimately, the benefits of our solution aren't restricted to a certain target market, because every single asset, whether that's a property, whether that's public sector, so local authorities, municipalities, whether that's a shop, so we've got a customer here like Burger King, so whether that's a fast food restaurant, or whether we're looking at the other end of the scale of utilities like National Grid in terms of critical infrastructure like substations, rail lines, and even construction sites. Every single asset has this now risk of water, whether that's the understanding of using water in real time. Sorry, is that a question?
No, sorry. My mind was...
No problems at all. So really, where we're looking to grow this is we have outlined these 6 verticals, but ultimately any asset owner is a target, is a target market for us. And we are seeing growth and development across UK, Europe, and US in all of these markets. So it's a really exciting space to be in. And I just wanted to give you an example of really the power of the benefits of this. We work with a company called Balfour Beatty Vinci, which are a very well-known construction business that are the main joint venture for HS2, the largest construction project of rail within the UK. And previously, they would only utilize governmental warnings. So the client, Balfour Beatty Vinci, only received a warning 53 minutes before their site was completely inundated with flooding. And this resulted in insurance losses through asset damage. So cranes, excavators, all the high value assets were damaged due to the unknown risk of flooding to their site. And then also project delays. The site was fully inundated with water, which caused X amount of weeks of project delays. which there, so as staff minutes, it's in losses in terms of time. There's a huge impact here. And the reason is because that those warnings from the government, they don't have any localized condition data, and they're providing it for broad geographic regions. So for specific, complex individual sites, their system approach is not relevant. So we started providing our forecasting and sensor technology as a combined solution to Balfour Beatty Vinci. And we've essentially been able to mitigate all flooding impacts since about 14 months ago when we started working with them. And it really resonates here because the quote we've got from the site manager at this specific site that we work on is that we alerted 36 hours in advance. And this allowed them to move critical infrastructure, such as their crane, excavator timber, and fuel cubes, mitigating asset damage and safely demobilizing any flood risk from the flood zone, which is of a triple SI river, which is an area of scientific special interest. And really, the key importance thing here is not only did they move critical infrastructure, but they deployed certain mitigation measures, such as temporary flood defenses and also heating and pumping systems on certain areas on the site. So there's always a continuation of the project so that delays and added costs don't come into that. So we've got an ROI of over 10x for individual sites of construction, which is really, really impactful. So just to summarize, Provizico, as specialists and leading the market in terms of flood predictions and real-time monitoring, have been able and have proven the ability to improve the understanding of flood risks and mitigate impacts on a number of different industries. We've developed a market-leading asset and catchment scale risk management solution that is scalable across multiple countries and geographies. And in a short period of time, since we've been commercialized in 2019, we've been able to deliver benefits to a huge number of companies globally through both space and time. So I'm just going to pause there. I'll leave my details up on screen, but thank you very much for listening today. I hope this was insightful to you. And if you've got any questions, I'd happily answer them now. Thank you.
Thanks, Owen, for your presentation. It was really clear. Okay, so do we have any questions about his solution or to Owen, anything? It was really helpful for us to understand what are the trends out there and also your collaboration with Vinci. Any questions? All right, so we'll make sure, Owen, for the audience to have your contact information. Thank you very much for being with us this morning, and then we'll go to the next speaker. Thank you very much, Owen.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to the third speaker, Rodrigue, who is a business developer at Ecopulse. Do we have Rodrigue with us today?
Yes, here I am.
Hello,
Good morning, everyone.
Morning. So I'll let you share your screen. Take your
Yes.
time.
All right.
Yep, perfect. We can see your screen
Can
now.
everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, so let's go. Good morning, everyone. Thanks again for the invitation, Marianne. And let me wish you, everyone a happy new year. Hope you'll bring the opportunities you're seeking. So I'm here this morning to talk about Ecopulse. Ecopulse is a young startup. We're specialized in a very niche industry that is the road construction industry. Without further ado, then let's just jump right into it. So
Perfect.
before
Would you wanna?
saying,
I'm sorry, Rodrigue. Would you
Yep.
want it to maybe put it in a full screen?
put it in a full screen, yeah.
Yeah.
No worries.
That's
Okay.
okay.
So
Perfect.
Perfect. Then maybe before saying what we do, I think it's important to tell us who we are. So Ecopulse is a relatively young company founded in 2021. However, its origins goes back to 2018 in Nepal. Basically, the story is that the two founders, the co-founders of the startup, which are Mr. Redvitz and Mr. Varga, were in a NGO project in Nepal that had the objective of palliate the lack of infrastructures while using recycled plastics. They came up with the idea of using recycling plastics into roads. When they came back in Germany, they convinced two R&D partners, which are National Institute, the Fraunhofer ICT, as well as the University of Kassel, to develop a product that we call the EcoFlakes. We'll come back to it later, but then since 2021, when the company was founded, we've been doing more than 30 projects, essentially in Germany, as well on Austria, and we've been recently backed up by institutional investors, which further confirmed, I'll say, the relevance and the actual prominence of our mission around time. So the EcoFlakes itself, I'm sure maybe not everyone in the call is a specialist in road constructions, but let's say sometimes in a road, bitumen of a road needs to be modified. Why? Because we need to give other properties to the bitumen, enhanced properties, especially when it comes to routing, deformation, heat resistance, as well as anti-aging. The industry right now, when it wants to modify its road and the bitumen, they use synthetic plastics, which are called virgin polymers. Those cost money, are very synthetic, and aren't that eco-friendly. Our mission here is to substitute those virgin polymers, which are made out of an industrial, let's say, process via recycled plastics. Recycled plastics giving the same properties to the bitumen as the synthetic plastics. However, it will also enhance the CO2 carbon emissions of the actual road up to 20%, and as well provide the cost advantages, because the one we provide will be less expensive than the one that are currently used in the industry. I'm not going to enter into the details, but just to give you an idea, the little pebbles that you can see here are recycled plastics. We have two kind of versions that are called either Pro and Green. They give better properties to the road, especially over time when we look at slower aging and good cold flexibility. That means as well cost savings for infrastructures. As you can see, the fact here that we're saving CO2 per tons produced comes from the simple fact that the plastics, and I'll just jump into it afterwards, that the plastic we use are plastic that is deemed initially to be incinerated. So if we look at our production model, it is a very decentralized and circular production model. We're in partnership with recycling industries that basically get the plastic waste streams. In-house, they have different kind of sorting technologies, which are magnetic, density, optical. And among that stream of plastic, within that stream, there is one part that is called purely recyclable, which is the part that is going to be directly processed, given the good quality of the plastics. However, the 2/3 of that plastics waste, well, today they're just burned because it will be too expensive for these actors to basically reprocess the plastic and put it back into the market for giving another product. What we do is that we take that plastic that is considered impure at first, and we're gonna add all the quality control on emission, impurities, homogeneity, ecotoxicity, using X-ray, AI, and other specific tools that is gonna enhance and enable us, I'll say, to get those little pebbles of plastics that will be consistent and suitable to the modification that we want to bring into the asphalt. This model is very circular and very regionalized. Let's say so far all the pilot roads that we've been making were made with a regional plastics. So the pilot roads in Germany were made with German plastics, the pilot road in Austria were made with Austrian plastics. The idea of democratizing that model on the long term is a necessity so that we can include not only the road construction company, but also the plastic waste management companies to give a second life, I'll say, to that plastic that is today burned and put it into the road for better infrastructures. Also, I think I'm not gonna end up a lot talking about that point, but it's important to say that these simple materials of recycled plastic doesn't need additional tools or specific, I'll say, blower or screw to be used. It can be used directly at the mixing plants without any specific things. And this, I think, enhanced as well our scalability, especially in a road construction sector where sometimes practices might slightly differ into countries. However, the functioning of a mixing plant itself does not. Whether it is, at the mixing plant or the construction site, there is no harmful emissions and the process of making the road still the same. Just to give an overview, I think it's important to say that, yeah, despite being founded in 2021, we've managed to build up to 30 roads now, especially essentially in Germany, as you can see, with 2 in Austria, 1 in Prague and 1 in Switzerland. So mainly we've been doing roads with high charges, such as bus stops, bus lock, but also 2 highway recently. And so, yes, so far we've been able to save 320 tons of CO2, which is a good start, but we hope to increase the number in the upcoming years. That was everything that I wanted to say. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to it. And I'm open now to every kind of questions you might have. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rodrigo from Ecopulse. That was again very interesting presentation. Thank you for being short and efficient about your pitch. It was really helpful. All right. Do we have any questions for Ecopulse? Same goes with any other startups. Contact information and presentation will be shared with all of you. But if you have any questions, even little ones, use comment section or raise your hand so that I can get them. Okay, we still have some time at the end, so if you wanted to ask anything, but other than that, thank you very much, Rodrigo, for sharing with us your insight and more information about your company. All right, so let's go to our last speaker, but definitely not the least. We're really excited to have Burak with us today of Concierge. So,
hello, everyone.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for the waiting. I will let you present yourself and then share your screen, please.
Thank you for the invitation to the entire Impulse teams, Impulse partner team. I'll be sharing my screen right now. And you must have it now.
Waiting and loading. And drum roll, please.
Can you see it popping up?
Well, not quite yet.
Maybe if you were sharing before, maybe if you can stop sharing.
Yeah, yes, we can see it now. Perfect. You may begin.
All right. I would like to start reading a section from the opening ceremony speech of Lucien Carbonell. He is the president of the city Concretopia. He says, "My dear citizens, not only did we build our new bridge with 0 emissions, but this engineering marvel will clean the air in our city year after year. It's not just a promise, but a measurable reality. With advanced sensors, we track the impact of our structures in real time, proving that innovation can lead to a greener, healthier world. Bridges not only connect our people, but also clean our air. This is the future of infrastructure, and it starts right now. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brack. I'm the founder of Conquer from Berlin, Germany, and I will tell you the revolutionary history of concrete's redemption. I'm sure everyone in this meeting today know very well that cement and concrete production causes a lot of emissions. Yes, it's true, and many are working on it. Despite many innovations, no single technology has managed to tackle this issue completely. Yet for centuries, concrete has been quietly capturing the atmospheric CO2 in a natural process called carbonation. Engineers have known about carbonation for centuries, but its potential to combat emissions has largely been overlooked. Because the methods we use to measure carbonation are outdated, much like using a magnifying glass to study a forest. They're slow, imprecise, costly, and miss the bigger picture. To unlock concrete's full potential, we need better tools, tools that can quantify and validate its CO2 absorption accurately. At Conquer, we developed precisely those tools. Starting as another concrete sensor company, we have now created novel sensors that measure how much CO2 your bridges, buildings, and even the sidewalks on the street are capturing directly from the air. An invisible but very crucial process. We added our latest sensors on top of our existing technology, but principles remain the same. We have devices and sensors that collect measurements regarding different physical attributes. All this data is then sent to our software, they get analyzed. These insights validate the CO2 absorption, a crucial step for the MRV compliance, translating them into potentially financial incentives like tax reductions and valuable carbon credits. Our carbonation sensors are new, but Conquer, our startup, is not completely new in this domain. We make our living from the nowadays standard applications of concrete sensors. For example, high-rise builders use them to accelerate their construction stage. Experienced bridge contractors praise our sensors for enabling both safety and efficiency in record time. Even engineers responsible for the maintenance of such beautiful 200-year-old bridges trust our sensors for structural health monitoring purposes. But back to the important topic of the day, there are people who use our latest sensors as well. Material innovators around the world have created methods to increase concrete's ability to capture CO2 even further or faster. We have quite favorite solutions like Concrete for Change, ChemVision, Carbon Limit. These are all startup solutions, or more established corporate companies like Shimizu and Kajima from Japan, who have introduced legit working, very good material solutions for the problem. And as we speak right now, our novel sensors are used to measure the extended carbonation capabilities of the DAC coating and the CO2 CECOM of Shimizu and Kajima in Japan. When I first started talking about recarbonation, skepticism was widespread. But let's look at the progress together. European Union Commission has mandated measurements. MIT has one-to-one with the same wording confirmed our problem statement. And just last week, RILEM, the International Association for Construction Materials and Testing, has published their latest technical committee to advance the understanding and accurate quantification of CO2 uptake by materials like concrete. In this time, Conquer has gone from a concept to becoming very critical. By validating natural recarbonation, we offer significant environmental benefits besides the already proven commercial gains. With 4.5 gigatons of CO2 captured already, waiting to be quantified, we are here for both old and new concrete mixes. In that context, concrete is the perfect complementary solution for especially new material technologies, because all of them, regardless of their approach, will have to face the fundamental requirement of construction industry. Construction is in situ, and all those materials used in situ will need in situ examination, whereby concrete helps them as the practical measurement tool. This won't be an easy achievement. That's why we have a talented squad, each very experienced in their own domains. But let's be realistic, our team alone is not going to be enough. We're not actively seeking any investment. What we need are partnerships, sales channel partners to expand our reach, references to validate our latest technology further, and your help to spread the word. I started my presentation with a quote, and I always finish my presentation with the famous citation of Immanuel Kant. He saw enlightenment as overcoming human ignorance, and we see the potential for concrete to overcome its environmental impact. The answer is hidden inside, waiting to be unlocked with the right data. Concrete has the technology, and now we just need to work harder and maybe get your support to make the city of Concretopia a reality. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Burak, for your presentation and the sentences and little anecdotes that you share with us. Perfect. We have a question in the audience, I think, from Frank.
Yeah, Frank Mouwen. I'm from the European
Hello.
Innovation Council. So very interesting technology. I'm just curious about your sensor technology. You know, you see a lot of different mixes. For example, you see also a move to calcined clay and all kinds of geopolymer concrete. Is your, let's say, measurement technology applicable to the wide range of mixes that are currently in use, or do you need different sensors for different types of concrete?
We have, thank you for the question. We have experimented with basically 3 different types of cement types, from original Portland SEM 1 cement to SEM 2 and SEM 3. Also with a couple of mixes that uses fly ash, limestone, and GGBFs. This is not the end, we know it. There are many other SCMs which needs to be experimented with. But luckily for us, until now, with what we have experienced with, we didn't need to do any modifications on the sensors that we have, either in the installations in a new casting or in installations in an existing building. Regardless of the time of installation, we, by using multi-parameter measurements, can distinguish the rate of carbonation either starting from T0 or at T equals X. So
Can
it's
I
a
ask
promising.
more questions?
Please, if you have the time.
Okay. So last December, the Commission released its CF regulation, which is about carbon removals. What is your take on this? Is it relevant, or is this the beginning of a journey, or how should I see this?
They have with those, when it became the true law and regulations, when it came into force, it actually became a huge favor for our technology, because they have basically 4 core requirements. And the very first requirement is quantification, meaning everything when it is related to carbon capture needs to be measured. And we are a measurement solution, if I were to describe it very high level. So that regulation will hopefully act as a huge door opener with the policymakers to standardize our solution as a commodity for every construction project.
Okay. Look, I'm the program manager for construction with European Innovation Council. So solutions you develop, of course, I'm interested. So I encourage you to look at our instruments if it's of any help for your building your company. So that's a final comment. Yeah.
Thank you for the tip. I will definitely be looking out and also contacting you if I'm allowed to.
Please do. No, yes, please do.
Okay. Lovely. Thank you very much, Frank, for your question. And then we'll now close our webinar. So I'm going to just share the screen again. All right. So we'll go to the, yes. Thank you very much. So let me just thank once again all of our speakers, our guests, for a very complete presentation of which means Brick and Mortar, Smart City Association, and our amazing 4 startups who have pitched today. We will be sharing your pitch decks presentation to all of the participants. So do not hesitate, all of you, to take the discussion to the next step. We encourage you to do that. And of course, so the next slide, please. We InPost Partners organize this type of webinar all through the year. And this is the first semester webinar dates that are already booked. So you have on your top corner sustainability and energy clean tech online innovation session, the first one on April and the next one in July. So we do it once in every trimester, just for you to know. And then we will share more information about it with you guys very soon. Okay, so with that, thank you everyone joining us and tuned in today's session of InPost Partners innovation session on Smart City. See you all in April for our next innovation session. I hope you have a great day, all of you. And then we will stay in touch. Thank you very much, everyone.